and discover how things work. And so that particular interest led me through elementary school all the way to high school, which then continues even in my university days, where I majored in the biological sciences, and in fact I got my first degree there, and it was good enough for me to continue graduate studies, and I did a PhD in a major called pharmacology, that is studying the mechanisms of drug action. So I've always been interested to figure out how things work, so that's been my scientific curiosity. Yeah, some of you may not know, I'm one of the co-founders of Pharmanex, and we started the company back in 1995, roughly that, and we went out and raised about, I think we were close to about $38 million to start the company. And our basic premise, the fundamental premise behind the company was to start a company based on science and use that science to develop effective nutritional supplements. That was our idea, and that was our concept. And we were rather successful. We developed several products. In fact, the first 5 products that we developed, they were launched in 38,000 stores around the country here in the United States. And that sort of garnered quite a bit of interest from all sorts of different types of companies. And it so happened one of them was Nu Skin. They were rather interested initially to license one of our first 5 products, a product by the name of Cholesterol, which some of you may have heard about. But anyway, so they came and visited with us back in 1997, I believe. And one thing led to another, because we started to discuss, we had to describe what we were doing in Pharmanex, and Nu Skin got rather interested, and they went beyond their interest in a single product. In fact, they now were rather interested in acquiring the whole company. So after those discussions, I think there was mutual agreement that the partnership would be good, and we came into the world of Nu Skin back in November 1998. Yeah, I'm trained as a scientist. So one of the things I find, and over the years that I learned from science, is the fact that the reason why you do science is to get data. And the reason why you need the data is because then you have to prove all the evidence to back up or substantiate any claims that you're going to make for a product. That is very important to me, because it's very much easier and less expensive, if you will, if we just make up a claim and shoot it out, behind our product. Science does require commitment, and both financially and also the work our scientists have to do. But it's such a joy when we do have the scientific evidence to say that this particular product does what we claim it to do. So that's the reason why we do science. Sometimes it can be difficult. In fact, frankly, when we do a scientific study, we're asking a question, right? Because we don't really know what the outcome is. And sometimes we get an outcome that we don't like. And when we get a negative answer for a product candidate, we actually have to abandon it. So, and in fact, we have done so throughout the history of Nu Skin, that not every project or product project that we undertake that we are able to launch it. We have to abandon them because of the scientific studies. Yeah. Our scientific approach has a lot of depth to it. And in other words, we spend a lot of time thinking how we can apply science to all the steps that go towards making a final product. because there are a series of steps that we have to take. For example, we get at least a minimum of 6 steps in bringing an idea to fruition, i.e. the final tangible physical product. So each of those steps we have to get through. Okay, so that's the rigor we're talking about. For example, since we're dealing with a lot of natural products, we have to figure out where we can get the purest and the highest quality raw materials. Because fundamentally, if you start with garbage, it doesn't really matter what subsequent steps you take and do the science on, you know you're going to end up with garbage. So the first step, invariably what we have to do, and our scientists will take special care in choosing the right raw material to start our product development process. So that's the type of rigor we're talking about. And after we find the raw material, we also have to figure out how much active ingredients are available or are present in the raw material. We have to extract that. And once again, that extraction process allows us to concentrate and take away all the unnecessary fiber or whatever it is from the natural product and concentrate on just the active ingredients. So just 2 examples, I'm hoping will give you an idea. There are a lot of things that go into actually achieving what we call the 6S process. That's our quality manufacturing process for our products, because it takes on the average about 18 months to really bring our ideas into a physical form.